Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds. We're doing the weekly What Sold video as always, and sales are okay. They're not too bad this week. They're just kind of average is what I would say. And I want to go a little bit over the numbers. So this week I ended up selling 68 listings, and that was across 4 different platforms. So 62 of them were on eBay, 3 were on Poshmark, 2 on Depop, and 1 on Etsy. And on eBay, the gross sales was right around $2,100 or so. And currently I have about 2,250 listings active on eBay alone. And I haven't done any Facebook Marketplace because I am pet sitting, so I'm kind of between 2 different towns, and it's just easier not to deal with Facebook Marketplace right now. So that I will start hitting again next week. And I have been trying to cross list more, and I'm seeing a little bit of progress. I probably made a couple hundred extra from cross listing last week. So I definitely would say it's hopefully helping. I say maybe. But I do appreciate all the feedback from the last What Sold video about, you know, videos about having a question video and things like that. And so I probably will stick with mostly just doing them in these What Sold videos. And then maybe on a rare occasion, I'll do one big one. I got asked, how do I pack my dishes? I will start to do shipping videos in the next couple months after I get a little more organized. And also was asked about how I store my inventory, if I have a video on that. And I will have that one eventually. I'm going to be really working on organizing my garage this next month. And so hopefully I will have a video about that and kind of my journey with that, because I will show you how terrible it looks right now and show you what I am changing in that video. It's not pretty. It is like a bomb went off, but I am dealing with it and have a way out, is what I would say, to make it better and streamline it more. I do have a couple videos in the works, and so hopefully come July especially, I will start to get back onto that 2 video a week scenario. I just have really struggled to get back into it this month, but I am actively working on some more, and that includes some research videos, some hauls, etc. Other thing that I do want to include that I'm going to start adding to my What Sold videos is I am going to start adding in the sales that I am doing for my dad's estate, because I do think that some of those sales, they're going to be pretty impressive as I start to get more through items. And so it'll be different kind of items than I typically sell. So I'm going to start to include a few of those in every What Sold video if I'm able to. It just depends how much I'm able to list, how much is selling. It's not a you list it and it sells right away kind of scenario. And so I will start to just include those at the end of the videos instead of having a separate video, because I just feel like it's more beneficial to just have it all in one, and then you can see even more of a variety of items, hopefully. So I will add a few of those at the end of this video as well. The last thing I want to say before we start our What Sold is, guys, let this be your PSA. I think I've said this before, because every time I do this, I wonder why I've suffered for so long. Change the blades in your box cutters, because man, every time I do it, I'm like, wow, I don't have to saw this box apart. It's just, they're so cheap. The blades are so cheap. I don't know why I don't do it more. I do have links down in the description of the products that I use, and they're affiliate links. So if you do click them, I do get a small commission on anything you buy for 24 hours after clicking, which is really helpful. But I'll put down the little blades that I get. I think I just bought them and they were like $7 or $8, if that, for 50 blades. So there is no reason not to change them more often than I do. It's not that expensive, and it saves me a lot of a headache. So this is just your PSA, guys. Please change your blades. It'll make your life better. And so that being said, guys, let's get started on some sales. It's, some good ones, a lot of bread and butter, but there's some good ones peppered in there as well. So let's get started on those. First item we have here is a hummingbird flight sculpture San Pacific SPI bronze table home decor. And SPI is usually a sticker on the bottom that you will see. This didn't have that sticker, but I found others exactly like it that did. So I felt confident in claiming that it was that. and it sold for best offer of $20. It wasn't very big. I don't remember where I got it, but it was pretty recent and it was pretty cheap. I have quite a few of these. This is the first lot that sold, and I probably have 4 or 5 more lots of them that I'm sure will start to sell closer to Christmas time. And it's Winking Santa Claus Miniature Christmas Mug Japan. And these sold for best offer of $30. And I think I paid $5 for all of them. It was so cheap, and they were all in beautiful condition. This I just got recently from my source and got it all tested and charged up. And it's an Apple iPod Nano 7th generation. So iPods are also like digital camera. They're one of those things that even though they seem like they're obsolete technology, they are still desirable and people still want them out there. And this one sold for a best offer of $58 in a few days. This is Park Industries floral embossed aluminum lighter. It was a lot of 2 of them, and I typically put untested on lighters, honestly. And these I could tell went to a drop shipper. I actually had 2 of this exact same lighter set, and both of them sold within a day or 2 of listing for $25. This I got pretty recently from my source, and it's an authentic makeshift epithet erased Jello apocalypse, and Molly is the character, and it sold for $44.95. It is one of those unassuming plush where it really can surprise you. Some character plush can just really surprise you. This I got at a recent estate sale where all the beauty products were about $1. And this is Light Stim for Wrinkles LED Light Therapy Device Beauty Tool. And it sold for a best offer of $67. And I believe I spent $55 total at that yard sale and got a lot of really good items. This is Western Bird Hunting 1989 second edition. This has been listed for a couple years. Not the best buy. I got an offer of $15 and took it. I remember getting this at the Goodwill for $2.99, so really not the best profit to wait that long for, but it still sold. And this I just listed. It sold within a day. I got this from my source, and it's a Model 1911 and Model 1911A1 military and commercial pistols. So they are firearms, and it sold for $21.95, and it was in very good condition. And this one was fun. It's Carson City, the early years, 1997, and this actually sold in Carson City, and I should have looked up how close they were to me, but I noticed it right when I was printing the shipping label that it was Carson City. I have considered, let me know if any of you guys offer local pickups on your eBay items. I'm considering it, but I also feel like I would rather just list more on Facebook Marketplace because I don't really want to pay the fees on local pickup items because I'm still making the effort to meet up with people, and then you're not doing any shipping. I don't know. I haven't decided what I want to do. I'm sure it can be beneficial to offer local pickup. And so just let me know if you guys do that. I really am leaning towards just doing more listings on Marketplace though. But I've never done a local pickup on eBay ever. You know, before I even did Marketplace, whenever I got asked, I wasn't really comfortable doing it. Now that I've gotten more comfortable with in-person selling, I probably would do it, but before I just would avoid it. This is the Williams Sonoma. Oh, nope, not going to do that one. Hot air balloons. And I got this at an estate sale, and it's a lot of 6 of them. And I ended up taking a best offer of, I believe it's $35 for 6 of the salad plates. This I got at a thrift store for $3, and it's an Easton Press Time Life Books Queen Elizabeth at $90. This is one that really didn't have a very good sell-through rate, so I priced very, very competitively, and I just did an 8% off sale, I think. That or it went on a 10% off, or one or the other, and it sold. This is Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Just got this from my source. Knew what it was immediately. This is just one of those that every time I find it, I know it's going to sell. And it did sell for $55. This I just got at that sale where I got a lot of beauty stuff. And I picked up quite a few of these philosophy ones. And what I did is I looked all of them up to see if any of these were special. Because if they weren't, if they were only selling for like $25 free shipping, I just kept them because I paid $1 a piece. And so I just kept them and I'm using them myself. So I figure that's saving myself money as well. And this is Philosophy Rainforest Dew Shampoo Shower Gel Bubble Bath. And so out of the like 5 of these Philosophy ones I got for $1 each, this was the only one that really did have some decent value. It sold for $35 plus shipping. And so that was worth it for me to sell. But the ones that most of the others were 25 free shipping. So I figured I'd just keep those. And this is Oneida Stafford stainless 6 dinner forks, sold for a best offer of $25. I'm getting to the very end of this set of silverware that I got. And I'm not showing a ton of flatware this week. I just have some other stuff I want to show instead. And this is 1996 Goosebumps One Day at Horrorland game Purple Pawns. So I have admitted before, I really don't like parting out games. I have, and I will, but it's not quite something I enjoy. I think if I was finding more valuable games, possibly. This one, it sold for $11.95, but it's been listed for years. And, it was a decently valuable game. It was missing the most valuable pieces when I got this Horrorland game. So I don't know. I just don't love parting out. It just depends, I suppose. I haven't parted out really good ones, I guess. But this did sell for $11.95, and I paid $5 for the whole game, and I've sold lots of other pieces from it. This is Pokemon Platinum version Nintendo DS. It does not have the game, but it has the manual and the case, and that sold for $40. I have just started, when I get these kind of things in, I just turn off offers. I price very competitively and very fairly, and then I turn off offers because you're going to get a ton of lower offers on these type of items just because of what they are. This is Clark's shoe size 8 Helio Float Slingback Wedge Peep Toe Sandals. And I like Clark's. They're one of those shoes that, well, of course they have to be clean, because if they're shoes, they have to be clean for me to list them. But they tend to be that very bread and buttery kind of $20-ish range. These sold for right around $26, and I got these from my source, and they sold pretty quickly. But Clark's is a decent one that I've picked up in the past too. This I just got from my source. I got 14 of these Oz books, and this is the first one to sell. This is Ozma of Oz by Frank Baum, illustrated. It is not a first edition. It's white, though, so I put that in the title. And 1907 is just the year it was published. But this again is not a first edition. But it did sell for $30, so these are still desirable. This lot was a very fun, and so my source got in a bunch of cassettes, so I went through them and tried to pick out some ones that would be good for lots. And this is the Weird Al Yankovic cassette lot, and it's 6 of them. I really enjoy. I've listened to a lot of Weird Al over my life, and we're actually going to see him in August, so I'm looking forward to that. But this lot did sell for $40 for 6 cassettes. That's a pretty good deal. This is Springer Spaniel Huntley by Russ, and it has a little scarf. It's a plush, and it sold for $27.55. Super easy to pack, list, ship. This is why I like plush. I've had some decent sales lately. It's one of those things that it's another one of those that goes through phases for me, where I'll go through a time where I sell a whole bunch and find really valuable ones, and then I go through a dry spell. And I've had that with books. I've had that with flatware. So you just have to be flexible in what you're finding as a reseller. Unless you have niche down, then of course you're not as flexible in it. But if you're an everything seller, just go with the flow. Find what you can find. This is The Gateway Trip by Frederick Pohl Easton Press, and this was signed in a first edition, and it sold for the sale price of $36.75. And I started a 8% off sale again because my sales were so slow at the beginning of last week. I mean, abysmally slow, frighteningly slow. And so I started up a sale, and that has helped a little bit. It's during the summertime, sales do tend to just be a little bit slower. Not for everybody, but I've always noticed a slight decline. So if you're experiencing that, try not to fret too much. Just keep working. It's just people are going out. It's time where school is out, and so it's just less people I think are buying online. Also, money's tight right now for a lot of people, myself included, so I understand. And so just try not to get too disheartened if you are a person that is going through slightly slower sales, because yeah, at the beginning of last week, if I had to show you my Monday through Wednesday sales, I'd have like 7 items to show you. It was terrible, but it picked up. This is a Mary Kay Tribute for Men Spray Cologne. This sold within a day of listing it. I got this at an estate sale for like $1, $1 to $2 roughly, and it sold for $110. It didn't have the box, but all the liquid appeared to be there, and just really nice to find. It's really nice to make $100 in a day. Not something I get to do all the time. Okay, I'm sharing these with you to tell you that I'm probably not going to do this again, and you might not want to either. The only benefit is they didn't take up very much space. This is John McCain 2008 Politically Wild Playing Cards, and this sold for best offer of $6. I don't even remember where I got these. They've been listed for years, 3 plus, many more than 3 years, just a long time, really long time. They've probably moved 5 times with me. I just probably wouldn't do it again. But it is small, so I don't know. I don't know, but probably not. This is a set I got from my source. It's Lego Duplo Skippers Flying School Disney Pixar Planes, and it did have boxware, but it was sealed, and it sold for a best offer of $67. This I just got recently as well. I got 3 of the same type of this one, and I do love this hardware stuff. I don't find it, it's another one of those things that I find on occasion and in waves. And this is Amarok Carriage House Antique Style Brass Tone Toilet Tissue Paper Holder. And I just have number 2 in the title because I have another one of the exact same. So that's how I let eBay know this is a different listing. It is not a duplicate. And it did sell for a best offer of $24. This I actually got from my friend's mom, who I've known for a long time, and she is so delightful. And she gave me this to sell because she just didn't care for it. And it's a Dooney and Burke Pebble leather drawstring bucket bag, and just beautiful condition, absolutely beautiful. And it sold for best offer of right around $56, I believe. This is a Guess faux fur black vest, women's size small, zip up sleeveless, and it sold for the sale price of $22.95. And the picture is not great. My lighting, guys, it is just what it is. But it did sell probably within a month or 2 after listing. Now I'll show you a few Poshmark ones. And these I just got from my source, and I actually have a second set of them. And it's Libby 4 crystal tumblers, Mallard duck glasses. And they were unused and sold for $42 on Poshmark. I actually had them listed for right around $39 on eBay, but I've talked that on Poshmark and Etsy, I do tend to increase my price a little on some things, especially the heavy items, because typically the shipping is very affordable and it's priority. So I tend to up that a little, and also to counteract the fees, because 20% is a good amount, though when it's all said and done on eBay's pretty close to that after it's all, you average it out. But it did sell for $42, and, I just increased about $3 from eBay. And I don't always do that. I just sometimes on these I will, but it was really nice because I was able to fit these in in the large priority box. This is an MG Morris Garages Car Company Classic Cars logo, and it was a brass belt buckle, sold for $25. I likely could have got $30 eventually for this, but I got an offer for $25 on Poshmark, and I just love when I can sell on Poshmark. It's so easy, and the buyer already left feedback and is happy with it, so I'm happy to do the discount. These are Ariat men's size 12 EE black leather cowboy western boots. I paid up for these a bit at $15, but they did sell on Poshmark for $55. And it's another one, I had these listed, I believe, for $50 on eBay. And here is my one sale on Etsy, but it's a real good sale. That is what I am finding interesting about Etsy. I haven't had a ton of sales there, but I've had more high dollar sales there, and
all full price sales than I have on other platforms. So it's something that I'm continuing to work on. And this is a Patty Arrayas 925 sterling silver hair clip. And it sold for $135 on on Etsy. I actually think I had this listed for $120 on eBay. So it definitely sold for a little more, and and Etsy fees are bits less than eBay. You can see here I haven't done much. I've got 2 little reviews on Etsy so far, but I am building it. And then I'm not sharing the Depop with you because I finally figured out why I struggle to show you the Depop sales. So it's something I'm going to try to correct for the future. It on lists perfectly when I am ending my what sold or what has sold. If I don't unclick Depop, it gets rid of the listing. So your sale is still there, but it gets rid of the listing completely. So you can't view it at all. All you can see is that you sold the item, but you can't view the original listing if you don't remove it from being deleted. So it's just something I have to try to remember to change when I am ending listings that have sold. But I had 2 on Depop, and one was a shirt for $23 and one was a piece of jewelry for $20. So nothing huge. And now I'm going to switch over and I'll show you a few items that showed or that have sold for my dad's estate. Interesting thing about starting a new account is you forget what it's like to start a new account, to start from 0 feedback, 0 listings, having, selling limits, all of those things. It's very interesting to start from the beginning. And so that's what I've been doing. You can see here my name. So if you wanted to follow this store, you're more than welcome to see what I'm selling here. Eventually I will, this account will be done because I will have finished selling these items. But it's just childhood finds too. So I just put a 2 at the end of the name. And so it's easy to find. And you can see here I'm at 24 reviews. What I did to help bolster my review. So what I did when I started this account, if you are new, is I know that new sellers are very targeted for scams. And so I went and I bought my shipping supplies on there. So the different accounts that I will buy my boxes and mailers and different things like that from, I just use this account to purchase them because a lot of them do leave automated feedback. And then I also just listed lower dollar items to start. So, and things that aren't more than $20-$30. I just wanted to start to build my feedback. So this is an account I have been working on very slowly the past couple months. And now I am really starting to dedicate more time to it because I have the items to list on it. Before, what I was listing was just the stuff that would fit in a carry-on on my backpack when I came back from Missouri when I was on the plane. So it wasn't a lot of items that I could bring back. And so this count, it's just interesting to start. And also, I forgot that it is much like Poshmark and Mercari with payments in the beginning. So if you're trying to do eBay to get rich quick, it is something that rethink that because they do hold your funds until 3 days after delivery on most items. And so that is what it's like in the beginning. And I know that you're pretty much on a probationary period, at least for the first 3 months. And then, you can start to get into that top rated seller status and all that. But I am just now at the point where probably about half my sales I can get immediate payment, after the day of processing. And then half of them are still being held until 3 days after delivery. But here is just a few different items that I've sold on this account. Again, I'm not listing crazy on here. It's just when I'm trying to list a few items a day when I'm able to. And this is Babylon 5, the complete series, seasons 1 through 5. And this sold for $27. And you're going to see a ton of these rifle scopes. This is just something you're going to see a bunch of on this account. And these are the cheap ones. But this is Bosch & Lomb. It's a 624-40 rifle scope, Elite 4200. And I don't believe they make Bosch & Lomb anymore. And it sold for a best offer of $360. So definitely, I always look for rifle scopes and things out there, but it's something that I very, very rarely find. Here's another thing that you probably very rarely find out there, at least me, because I'm not getting up at estate sales and getting there 10 hours early. But this is 1964 Kennedy half dollar. So the half dollars before 1964 have more silver content than the 1965 and up to now, because it was 90% silver then. So this is two of them, and they sold for $21.95. That also goes for quarters as well. Is the quarters from 1964 and earlier have more silver than 1965 and later. And this is a Tasco rifle scope optics, and this is a 41640. I already got positive feedback from the buyer, luckily, and it sold for $69.95. I will say there is something about having good box sizes, because I have a lot of rifle scopes to sell, so I just took the plunge and bought boxes that I knew would fit most of my loose ones that I have. And man, I am so glad I did it. It was worth paying $1.50 a box by far, because I'm doing a 26/6 box. So it pretty much fits all those loose rifle scopes that I have, all because they vary in length. And I am so happy I did it, because otherwise I'd be making boxes every time and that would make me grumpy. Another thing my dad enjoyed was fishing, and this is a Pfluger Medalist fly reel, as I tongue tie it. And it was pretty much in new condition, had the original box, and it sold very quickly for $42.95. He also had a chunk of cameras, and this is a Nikon Coolpix S33 waterproof digital camera. It was blue, and I did test it, and it was all working. Luckily, had the charger for it, and it did sell for, I believe, $65 on the best offer very quickly. Then here are those Kennedy half dollars from 1965 and early, or to now. I'm confusing myself, but these ones are 1965 to 1966, and these are 40% silver, and it's a lot of 11 of them, and they sold for $50. And this is Deadliest Catch Season 9. This is one of those that's very surprising, and I think it's just because not as many were made later on, and not as many people bought them. And this sold for $30. And I have found in other series that the later seasons are more likely to have some value depending on what it is. But this one was brand new. My dad did not open this one, and it sold for $30. And then he also had 8, 10, and 11 that also had value. Season 11, I think I listed for over $70. And that is wild to me, because the early seasons of Deadliest Catch aren't very valuable at all. So it pays to look up each thing. And then one last rifle scope. This is a Leopold 3.9 rifle scope, and Leopold is definitely a name to look for out there. Most of them are going to have some really good value, and this did sell for a best offer of $250. So that's everything I am sharing with you today, guys. Let me know if you are happy with me doing it this way, where I just show some extra sales from my dad's estate. I just think this is better than doing separate videos once a month. I just rather you have all the knowledge in one little video each time, and then it just gives you a little bit more variety, because these are a lot of the things that I'm not really able to find out there very often, because I don't go to the garage and look at this kind of stuff first. I'm running to the kitchen first and to the toys, but it's stuff that I do know some about, just a little. So hopefully you'll be able to see some stuff that you can find out there. And as always, thank you for watching me, and I'll see you guys on the next video.